Okay. So hi, everyone. Very nice to meet you. My name is Adi Regev. I'm a principal group program manager at Power BI. Along with me are some of my esteemed colleagues and senior PMs, some of which will come up to stage later on in the presentation. And what we wanted to share with you today is how we're looking at enterprise information management as a goal in Power BI and what are the deliverables that we're planning or that have already shipped in this area. So let's get started. And by the way, thank you for joining us at this tough slot. I know it's tough after lunch and everything, so choosing to be with us instead of taking a nap, we appreciate that. Okay, so just brief context of Power BI and where we are today with the service before we dive into specifically enterprise information management. And I'm sure some of you have heard that before in some of the other Power BI sessions. But Power BI is all about helping business users making better business decisions based on data and just empowering everyone to use to achieve that much more with their data. And we're doing a pretty good job. So we're a recognized industry leader today, identified at the top, both by Gartner and Forrester, and we're just being used all over. So out of the top Fortune 500, 97% of the companies are using Power BI today. That also means, as you know, most of them are big enterprises, and we're seeing that in the numbers. So the numbers are just astonishing in terms of the scale and the growth that we're seeing. So we have 30 petabytes of data being ingested into the service every month. We have 35 million reports and dashboards hosted right now in the Power BI service, and 15 million queries processed per hour. If we look at the growth, and this is not a fabricated image, this is actually our usage of over time. You can see just an astonishing growth of 500% year-over-year growth in large deployments. But that also means that the way we're being adopted is changing, right? So when we started out with Power BI, a lot of our adoption was viral within organizations and small or medium companies. It was a lot due to bottoms-up adoption, just with business users falling in love, starting to use it, and then trying to get everyone to adopt it. It was very business-led, and it was just distributed in a very agile manner and not in an explicit decision by the organization. And now it's shifting. So we're seeing all these enterprises adopt Power BI. It's more of a tops-down decision being led by IT or the center of excellence. And as such, the requirements around governance, around security, around scale are just greater than ever before. And we are on a mission to meet those goals. So I was telling about how well we're doing, but I want to actually highlight some of the challenges we've been hearing from customers, okay? So one of the areas is around just the organic growth of the assets and of the usage within organizations, and I was mentioning that earlier. So organizations today are dealing with just massive amounts of artifacts within their org. Hundreds, sometimes thousands, sometimes even more of assets within one org. How do you manage those assets? How do you discover them? How do you amplify some? How do you reuse some of them? That's a challenge today. The other aspect is that the analytical apps being built by Power BI are becoming more and more advanced. We've introduced, and I'm sure some of you are familiar with that, we've introduced a while back shared datasets. I'll cover that in a minute. But that's a way to reuse data, to create a source of truth, to avoid data duplications, and to reuse those assets across workspaces. But it also means that it gets that much more harder to understand the data trail and the data journey within your analytical apps. Where did the data come from? How can I troubleshoot if something went wrong? And so forth, right? The third is around, well, enterprise-grade platform. As I said, right now, the adoption is more IT-led, tops down, and the requirements for meeting all these governance, for all the scale, grade, and governance requirements are just out there. And last but not least, data protection, right? So data is being shared more and more. We're taking more and more decisions based on data. More data is being brought into Power BI. We need to make sure that the data remains secure. So within the product team, when we started looking into that as a holistic problem, we said, well, we have those 4 challenges. We want to tackle each and every one of those, right? So around the organic growth of assets within Power BI, we've just started, but we're adding more and more capabilities around data reuse and discovery. The shared data sets is one of those. Certified data sets is a way to discover, and I'll get to that in a minute. But that's just the beginning, and I can tell you about more thoughts that we have in this area around data cataloging, integrations, and so forth. The second is around how do we manage the data trail, how do we discover it, how do we help both data owners get more confidence in their data or troubleshoot issues, as well as business users understand where the data came from. Well, we've introduced new capabilities around data lineage and impact analysis. The announcement just went out a couple weeks ago, and I'll cover that today as well. And third, around enterprise grade and data protection. So we've introduced new capabilities around data protection and around data governance. And again, here we have such a long roadmap ahead, but what we're introducing today already helps everyone here protect their data and get started. So each of these will be covered today. Starting with data reuse and discovery. So here I'm going to touch on shared and certified data sets. It's not a new concept. It's been out for a couple months. But I want to make sure that everyone's on the same page. And hopefully, in a few months, we'll be able to tell you that much more about what we're doing in this area. So how many are familiar with shared data sets? OK, a few. So shared data sets is the capability to provide others the access to a certain data set that you've created within your workspace and allow them to build on top of that data set without giving them edit permissions to that data set. And that actually means that now if you have data set X within a certain workspace, others from other workspaces can use that as sort of the golden data set, build on top of that, create one source of truth, avoid data duplication. So what we've seen with many customers until today was that they would create 3 and 4 and 5 versions of the same data set based on just different data owners trying to build the same analyst sales, the same sales result, right? The quarterly result. Which one is the source of truth? Which one should be built on, right? Why am I seeing in 2 different dashboards or reports a KPI that both says Q3 sales results, but the numbers are different, right? So creating one shared source of truth is a way to avoid data duplication, remove redundant efforts, and obviously just have one golden data set there. Obviously, it also helps foster collaboration across the analysts. And as I mentioned, you can easily use that by providing others a build permission to build on top of your data set without risking them editing it or changing it. But that's only part of the story, because I was telling you about how you share that data set. How do you make it more discoverable? How do business analysts later on know that this is that certified data set that should be used by all? Well, here we've introduced a concept that is twofold. So we have promoted data sets and certified data sets. What we allow here is, A, for business analysts to promote their own data sets, saying, well, I think I've built here something good, and I encourage people to start using that. And so they can promote those data sets and tag them as promoted. But that's a bottoms-up promotion. The other side of it is that once a data set is actually certified and went through the certification process of that specific organization, or sort of was approved by IT, or the center of excellence, be it whatever process is relevant to that organization, it can actually be tagged as certified. Now, not every business analyst can tag something as certified. Administrators can tag data sets as certified, and they can also anoint SMEs by defining a security group of certain people, for instance, those within the center of excellence, and saying, well, those specifically can tag data sets as certified as well. What happens when you tag them as promoted or as certified? It means that when you now try to build reports upon data sets, the certified and the promoted ones are that much more discoverable. In terms of sorting, when you try to get data, they are popped up to the top of the list. The certified ones come first, and after that, the promoted ones. Now, that's just the beginning. Today, the sorting there is pretty naive. But later on, we are looking into how we also have more advanced algorithms around, well, maybe the sorting will also help you discover those which are more used right now, right? Or maybe endorsed or rated highly. So there's a lot to be done here, and this is just the beginning. If you can keep a secret, I can also tell you that we are planning certification for data flows as well. So that's coming up in a few months. And as data flows are picking up in terms of adoption, you'll be able to certify them as well. Okay? As I mentioned, controlled by tenant settings. So I'll just say this was the shortest piece of our presentation, but we have more lined up there. So stay tuned, and hopefully for MBAS we can tell you more. Let's move on to the next subject, and I'm very excited about this one. Data lineage is one of my personal favorites. But here there's really a tricky challenge, as I mentioned earlier, because we're encouraging our analysts to build those very advanced analytical apps, but it just makes tracking the data journey that much more harder. And here are some example day-to-day challenges, right? So for instance, if I'm a data owner, right, and I have this data set, a shared data set, how do I know now when I want to change something in that data set, which reports are using me? Which of them will be impacted? How can I notify the owner? Or how can I try to do more than that, right? Who's using that? Who's owning those reports? In terms of a business user perspective, if I'm looking at a certain report or at a certain KPI, a key point indicator with a certain business result that I'm interested in, again, how can I be sure that that's the same one? I might have 3 dashboards created by 3 business owners, business analysts that try to represent the same info, but each have different numbers. So how do I know which is the correct one, and where did the data actually come from? And also for troubleshooting, if I'm building an analytical app right now, or later on, if I see that a refresh has failed, how do I know what failed along the way? Where did it stop failing? It might be that I see a data, a certain KPI out of date on my dashboard, but it might not be the dashboard that's the problem. It might track all the way down to the data set or data flow and so forth. So let's see a bit about what we've already introduced with data lineage and that can help you solve a lot of these problems. And here I'm in a workspace. You can see this is the list view that we have today in Power BI. It's actually a new look of the list view, but it's still just a list view of the artifacts. And if I've built here a certain set of dependencies between the artifacts, it's very difficult for me to track that from that flat list view. Well, now we've added in preview here. Sorry, here. the lineage view. So you can easily move to the lineage view. And now you see the same set of artifacts with the entire set of dependencies and data journey between those assets. So you can see all the way from the data sources here down to the data sets or data flows, reports, and even dashboards. Now, on the data sets, for instance, we can see in our example that I have here OData, or I have here even an indication that I have an Excel based on a gateway. So all of this information is available to me. Let's see what other interesting capabilities here. If I want to track a data lineage for a certain report, I can click here on the highlight icon, and I'll see the lineage for that specific item. Both the upstream lineage, which is what we call from the report and up to the data source, as well as the downstream lineage. Okay? If I want to see additional information on that report or open it, I can click here and see certain metadata on it. For instance, when it was last updated, is it included in an app? I can open a report, and we'll be adding more metadata over time. And I can also perform the same operations here that I have from the list view. So you can live within the lineage view, so to speak, without even getting back to the list view. For instance, here in a data set, again, I'll have the very same set of actions that I have on data sets if I'm in the list view. Let's see some other interesting stuff here. So I can see here an indication for a shared data set. It shows that it actually came from another workspace. So if I want to track the data lineage all the way to the other workspace, I can just link into that workspace. It'll open that for me. And I can see now my Customer 360 data set, this time in its original workspace, and track the lineage there. If I click on the data set, I can also see the relevant entities that I have within the data set. I can see who's configured it last. I can see an indication for its sensitivity, which is relevant to data protection, and we'll get to that later on in the presentation. And I can also see aspects for troubleshooting. For instance, in this data flow, I can see an indication that the last refresh failed. Now here, it's very easy for me to see that it's actually based on another data flow, because we have linked data flows today that can import data from one data flow into another. I can see that the original data flow that it's based on had failed as well. So very easily, I can click here the refresh now and try to fix it. Now, it might not be the reason for the issue here. The refresh might not work, and I'll have to investigate further. But at least I understand the trail now. Okay? By the way, just as an anecdote, since these are linked data flows, when I clicked the refresh now for the products data flow, it actually triggered the refresh for product sales as well. And I could see a small spinny here. Well, it didn't fix the problem, and that's fine. It's not a demo bug. I didn't intend to fix it. but again, it helps you understand where things came from. And again, here, if I click on the settings, I can see the relevant entities within the data flow. I can see by who's the owner. I can go into Power Query and edit the data flow. So you can literally start living here and do every action that you've had in the list view, but that much more in terms of understanding the data journey and how you want to go. And again, this is just the beginning, and we've been targeting here how we can help business analysts with understanding the data journey, with troubleshooting, and with other use cases. For instance, a use case that we've heard from customers, and we didn't even originally think of, was for documentation. So they were saying, we want to document a lot of our analytical apps many times. It's very hard to start explaining verbally that this data flow is built on this data set and where I'm picking, this data set on this data flow and where I'm picking up the data from and how often it refreshes. Here I can just take a snapshot and put it into my documentation or my training. So we've been targeting business analysts, but again, it's just the beginning, because also in terms of allowing business users to gain more confidence in data and understanding where data came from in dashboards or in reports, that's on our roadmap. And one more thing is around impact analysis, and I'll get to that in a minute. So getting back to the demo, just a short recap of what we've seen so far. So we've seen how we now represent with the lineage view, workspace lineage from the data sources and all the way down to dashboards. There's metadata for each of those artifacts, such as the refresh timestamp or failures or tables info, endorsement, and so forth. I didn't mention that earlier, but you can see here, for instance, this customer 360 data set is also tagged as certified, and you can see that indication here as well. So there are various icons indicating if something is certified, if something is labeled as sensitive, which is relevant to our data protection, and so forth. There's actions available per artifact, and you can also track the data journey through cross workspaces, as I showed, and navigate between the workspaces when there's a certain dependency or a shared data set. It also works for shared data flows. Something we have coming up very soon, it isn't out yet, is impact analysis. So when I was showing you about shared data sets, I was showing you how it can track back from a certain workspace onto that data set with the original workspace. But one thing I didn't show you was how you can perform a fully fledged impact analysis on a shared artifact. So if I have a certain data set and I want to now get a view, a cross-workspace view, which says for data set X, I have 5 different reports built on it from 5 different workspaces. Give me that kind of indication so that I can answer that question of if I change this data set, which are the reports which will be impacted? Who owns them? How can I contact them? Providing additional usage information as well. For instance, which of these reports are also more oftenly used, and so I should be more fearful of impacting them. That's a fully fledged impact analysis, which is a cross-workspace view of how my artifacts are built on top of my data asset. And we are planning that and working on that right now, and it will be available in the near future as well. Now, I've shown you all of these experiences within Power BI, but it's worth mentioning that it can be done with admin APIs as well. So we actually have partners leveraging that today. And you can all use that as well, at least the IT folks in the room or developers. There's REST APIs where you can derive the artifacts information and their connections for data sets, dashboards, reports, data sources, data flows. And we've also added some recent improvements there. So you can now use a $expand to get all of the related entities in line in one single call without going through a long list of calls and also getting throttled sometimes. And as I mentioned, it's being used today already, and I mean, feel free to check it out. We have some third-party cataloging tools already leveraging it. There's Power BI Sentinel, for instance, but also Informatica. So anybody here uses Informatica as a cataloging tool? OK. Well, they are using those very same admin APIs right now and have a technical preview coming up with an integration between Informatica and Power BI, where Power BI data can actually be ingested into Informatica, and then you'd have additional cataloging capabilities there. If we're on the topic of admin, just worth mentioning as well that there is another feature coming up around usage matrix for Power BI, where within the admin portal, administrators would be able to see that much more info around usage of the various artifacts, such as dashboards, reports, data sets for workspaces as well, and usage on custom visuals and so forth. So this is something that administrators have been asking for a long time, and we're happy to provide it soon as well. So before moving on to the next topic, just to recap what we've seen with the lineage view and what's in it for you, right? So with that new view, you can already gain more confidence in your data, and we plan to make it even easier for you with additional entry points and the ability to track data all the way from the dashboard up to the relevant data sources easily. You can increase troubleshooting efficiency because if something failed along the way, now it's very easy to understand the entire dependency chain and where it started failing and who should I fix first. You can avoid data duplication because it also helps identify if I'm using certain various assets in the same way instead of just consolidating them into one shareable asset. You'd be able to analyze impact with the impact analysis we will be introducing soon. You can use it for documentation or training, as I mentioned, and also ensure data compliance. So moving on to the last area of data governance and protection. And we're going to leave time in the end for questions. So if you have any, I'm happy to hear them in the end. So for data governance and protection, we didn't need to invent the wheel. Microsoft has some of the leading security products in the world. And just this slide shows the massive scale of the solution that the security products give today. 5 billion threats being blocked per month by those security products, 470 billion emails analyzed, 630 billion authentications per month, 1.2 billion devices being updated, almost 20 billion Bing page scans, and 3,500 security professionals working on building the best security products. So when we wanted to address this in Power BI, it just made the most sense to leverage those top security products to bring you the best solution out there, and also to have a unified solution across Power BI and across the entire organizational stack. Because once we connect to some of these services, it's just about handling the same data with the same policies across the organization and without having Power BI-specific rules or handling. So what are we doing within Power BI? So just before we move on to the new stuff, a quick recap of what we do today around data protection. So if you're familiar with Power BI already today helps protect data within the service. So you have access permissions to be able to control which users can access which artifacts, if they have read permissions, write permissions, build permissions, and so forth. That's with access permissions. There's row-level security, and there's also the option to encrypt data at rest. We've recently introduced for preview the ability to also encrypt, use your own encryption key to encrypt your data, and we'll get to that in a minute. But the new advancements are around just thinking beyond that. It's around providing the ability to now monitor and protect also user activity on Power BI when users interact with sensitive data, and being able to control these actions and take remediative actions leveraging Microsoft Cloud App Security, which is a solution for a security broker that helps monitor user activity in real time and take those actions. Beyond tracking that user activity in real time and beyond protecting data within Power BI, we're going even further than that. We're now protecting Power BI data outside of the gates of Power BI. So now with the ability to label data within Power BI as sensitive, leveraging Microsoft Information Protection Sensitivity labels, we now protect the data also when it's exported out of Power BI into Excel or PowerPoint or PDF. Microsoft Information Protection is a set of solutions that helps protect and govern your data throughout its life cycle. And we're connecting to all that goodness. And last but not least, to complete the story, now that we're protecting data within Power BI, outside of Power BI, on user activity within the service, we're also providing additional oversight capabilities to our administrators so that they can see reporting within the admin portal on the sensitive data within their tenant, and that they can investigate further alerts being raised leveraging MCAS. So to deep dive on that section, I'll invite Anton, a senior PM on my team, to tell you more about each of these capabilities.
Thank you, Odi. Oh. Hi, everybody. So let's switch to this machine. So just to pick up the discussion, just a quick show of hands, how many of you are familiar with Azure Information Protection Sensitivity Levels or with Microsoft Information Protection Sensitivity Levels? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I count about 15. And how many of you are familiar with Microsoft Cloud App Security? 1, 2, 3, 4. And we have 5. And we have Alex from the MCAS team, 6. Entity. OK, so great. So we have really exciting and interesting story to tell you. So just start with what we hear from our customers today. As I mentioned before, more and more large organizations with their central IT teams deploy Power BI within the organization. And these organizations are really concerned with data protection. GDPR is really a great example of something that really changed the way that IT treats data, especially data in the cloud. And here is a quick recap of some of the concerns. Like administrators are really concerned about, hey, is the data protected? When I deploy the service, do I prevent from unauthorized people to see sensitive data? Same goes for the data owners, the people in the organization, the business analysts who create the reports and want to share it with the organization, have a great responsibility about making sure that the data that they share is available only to the people who are authorized to it. And they also need to find a way to do it without harming their own productivity. Other administrators ask us about oversight. So I have this organization. I have thousands of reports in Power BI. How do I know which of them are highly confidential, very sensitive, and which aren't, and who can access them, and what they do with the data? And of course, the privacy and regulations that require organizations to be really, really on top of their data protection scenarios. So let's start going one by one the new data protection capabilities in Power BI. So first one is bring your own key. So Power BI already encrypts the data at rest. So once you upload the data to Power BI, it's encrypted. Many organizations are required to own the key for the encryption to control it. They don't want Microsoft to have the key. They want them to have the key for various reasons. Now we're happy to announce the Bring Your Own Key preview, which enables you to leverage Azure Key Vault and manage your own keys to encrypt data in Power BI, which enables you, in addition to having the control of the key, also revoke all access to encrypted data in a single location. Also, for those of you who use Premium, you can have a different key for each Premium capacity. So you can address various regulatory requirements according to this. This is very cool. Okay. So the next piece is really something that is going to change the way data managed in Power BI. The integration with Microsoft Information Protection Sensitivity Labels will enable organizations to classify reports, data sets, dashboards, and data flows in Power BI, and to, as a result, provide this visibility to administrators. And not only this, one of the biggest pains that our customers currently have is about export. So some organizations, in order to apply with their data protection requirements, had to disable export or limit which data can be uploaded to Power BI because they're concerned over, like Power BI is really secure, have permissions model, it's a great product, but if you export the data from Power BI, no one has a control over who can see it and how it's shared. So they disabled export on account of productivity. Others try to educate their employees with data protection guidelines about how to treat sensitive data in Power BI and how to treat it when they export it from Power BI, and they hope for the best. So basically, we have a problem. So we need to compromise between data protection and productivity. And this is something that we are solving with Microsoft information protection sensitivity labels. And I will invite Dennis from the Azure Information Protection team, with whom we worked on this integration.
Hi, guys. Can you turn me on? Can you hear me? I was very happy to see that at least 15 people here heard about MIP or AIP. Then I would like to tell you why it exists. Then data is exploding. We have data everywhere. A lot of data is created. Just a few facts. 90% of data was created in the last 2 years. And this tremendous amount of data creates a new challenge. Everybody here, I assume, will agree with me that everybody has sensitive data. But the biggest challenge is that a lot of data is not sensitive, and we need to find what's sensitive and what's not. We cannot just block our productivity or impact on how we work and try to secure everything. Then what Microsoft Information Protection tries to bring you is a solution on how you should secure your data and what data should be secured and what can just flow. Then the first thing that Microsoft Information Protection provides you is an ability to know your data. Know your data means know what's sensitive, know where is the data, and know who creates it. And once you know what is your data, you can protect it. And protection can come in various flavors. It can be visualize the data, tell the end users it's sensitive. And trust me, it's a huge step when you extend the data protection from the information protection admin to each and every of your employees. Lots of customers gain a lot just about telling the end user, this is sensitive, this is confidential, because most of your employees don't want really to harm the company. They want to follow the rules, but they want you to help them to understand what's sensitive and what's not. Protection can also come as some content marking, watermarking, headers, footers, whatever you put on the files. And of course, it can also be enforced by encryption of files. But encryption sometimes comes with cost, and you need to understand where you are willing to pay this cost. And the third pillar is govern your data, which is covered by governance part of MIP that deals with for how much time we should store our data. And this is also very important from security perspective and also for compliance regulation perspective. Then MIP was born about 2 years ago when Microsoft understood and accepted the feedback from customers that we have a lot of different information protection solutions in Office, in Windows, in Azure. And then we told, OK, we need to provide you one platform where information protection admin defines one policy, and then it flows to all applications. And it's done natively inside all applications. And we're in pretty good shape now, 2 years after we announced MIP. All Office apps now understand labels. This is what Office announced in this Ignite. Then on mobile, on Mac, on iOS, on Android, we're in pretty good shape with the cloud services and third-party clouds. Alex, after me, will cover it with the MCAS. Then we have our CASB solution that extend our labeling to all other clouds and other repositories. We're good with on-prem. We have solutions for on-prem. And then we turned and of course, support for labeling on Windows operating system. But then we understood that there is a single place that can expose our customers to a very dangerous path. Power BI is a hub. It looks into all your data sources. It's connected to SQL, to data lake, to your custom sources. And usually, you implement good security there. You can always improve, but you have some measures there. But then Power BI extends this data to the users. And then the platform itself, as Anton and Adi presented, is pretty secured. You have your ACLs. You can manage who can access data inside Power BI. But then think about somebody downloads the report. What happens to it? How many of you sent an email and told, please do not forward this? And then you relied on this, on this guy that he is not going to forward it. And how many of you download some report, put it on your Dropbox, and forgot about it? And then you can find this file traveling across the world. Then this is a very big problem for us, because we secure the sources, we secure the platform for Power BI, but then there is this door that we provide to the end user. They don't understand what they're doing, and they don't really want to harm the company. But then they can exfiltrate all this data from the sources, and you need to deal with it. And let's say most of people here assume maintain, use Power BI, but you are not information protection admins. You don't want to do the job for others, right? Then this is why you want to use something that your security CISOs or security admins defined and extended to Power BI. And this is where we came with integration with Power BI.
Thank you, Dennis.
Sure.
So I think the beauty, and now we're going to get to the demo really fast, but I think to emphasize the beauty here, it's one solution, one of the best security products in the world, now integrated seamlessly into Power BI. So this is what we'll see now. So in essence, what you can do, you can see on the screen ability to set sensitivity label column that is available, and everybody who consumes the data can already see the label, and we will show you how to apply it. And also, we will demonstrate now how this label persists with the data when it's exported from Power BI to Excel, PowerPoint, and PDF. And so this is how it will look. And here is, so Dennis mentioned encryption policy. So for the label, in the Security and Compliance Center, admins can define for each label if there is a restriction for only specific security group can use the data of if the label applied on the file. Having this capability in Power BI, when the data is exported from Power BI, actually only authorized users will be able to open the file. And if I, by mistake, send a very sensitive Excel file, not to Alex, who works with me, but to Alex, who learned with me back in high school, and he works for, I don't want to say Amazon, then I'm in trouble. So this is so we are not coming to protect Power BI from hackers. We want to help information workers to protect the data in the ways that won't affect their productivity. So, okay. So this is our new look. In this new look, you can see we have the workspace we saw before, and we have data flows, data set, report. We can also label dashboards, etc. We don't support workbooks yet. So let's see how information worker, an analyst who produces the report, can set a sensitivity label on a report. So they go to settings. In the report settings, they can see all the sensitivity labels that were published by their organization. And these are the same labels that they see in Office apps. So they don't need to retrain about what does it mean highly confidential in Power BI. The central admin team does not need to sync with Power BI admin about how do you connect the taxonomy. And the same policies that are defined in one place by one security and compliance admin are already seamlessly available in Power BI. So you don't need to do some integration or education for your users. So let's set it for confidential, internal only. And now so I change it, just for the demo purpose, I will bring it back to highly confidential just to show you. Yeah. So basically, this is editable. Now, the report was shared with users. Now, if I'm a consumer, not a report owner, when I access the report, I already see that the data is highly confidential, internal only. Even if this label does not have some restriction policy, I'm already aware that this is sensitive. This is not data that I will share with anybody without thinking about it. Now I'm going and I'm viewing this really beautiful report, and it's great, and I can do lots of stuff in Power BI, but many of our users like to use Excel. Excel is an addiction. When you have a table data, you want to subtract, add something, you use Excel. So now when they export data to Excel file, the label was seamlessly applied on the file, so they did not need to do anything else. The data that is exported is already protected, and the label is there. Let's hope that the demo will work. Yeah. So now it's not a demo anymore. It's public preview. It's released. It's deployed in all Power BI public clouds. I will show in a few minutes how you can enable it on your tenant. So you have internal only label with highly confidential, and you also have a restriction policy applied on this report. So on this Excel file with the report data. That's it. The information, the creator of the report one time set a label on Power BI, and everybody who consumes the reports and exports the data already have the data protected. So this is really cool. And same works for PDF. So PDF in Power BI takes time to export, so export it in advance. So basically, this is the same report. We have a screenshot of the report, and you can see it's only also internal only, highly confidential, and it's also protected. So same available for PDF files as well. So this is for this part of the demo. Let's switch back to the slide deck. So if you didn't know about it, but Power BI has probably the best mobile app in the BI business. So it's ranked high. It has more downloads than all of our competition together. And if you use sensitivity labels in Power BI, the same sensitivity labels are also going to be visible in the reports and dashboards when you consume them in mobile. So this is also already available for public preview users. So how do you get all this goodness? So in Power BI, you go to Power BI, you need to be Power BI tenant admin. You go to Power BI tenant admin settings, and you just enable information protection sensitivity labels. We have two settings here. One, which enables sensitivity labels in Power BI. What happens behind the scenes that we are connecting to your Microsoft Information Protection sensitivity label settings defined in the Security and Compliance Center. The second setting below enables you to define who can apply the labels in your organizations. Because when you're probably rolling out this feature for the first time, you want to roll it out to a small group of people. You want them to try it out, give you feedback. So you can here define by using security groups which users will be able to apply labels. And as mentioned before, the labels themselves, this is another beautiful thing here. From what we learned, usually the Power BI admin isn't the person in the organization that defines compliance and security. Compliance security defined by what we call global admin, security admin, compliance admin, and they usually define all of these settings and policies in the Security and Compliance Center. So in order for this integration to work, sensitivity labels to work, you need the global admin, security admin to define sensitivity labels in Security and Compliance Center. And then once you enable it, you will see them in Power BI. For those of you who have Azure Information Protection sensitivity labels, you will need to migrate. And I think that Dennis will back me up on this. You probably should think about it soon. Cool. Licenses. So for sensitivity labels, same as in Azure, you require an Azure Information Protection license in order to apply the labels and use the labels. You can buy this license as standalone or as part of Microsoft license suites like Microsoft E3 and E5 and EMS E3 and E5. And you can go to our documentation to learn more about it. So just to recap what we saw just before we move to the next part. So we saw how we can leverage Microsoft Information Protection sensitivity labels that defined in Security and Compliance Center for the entire organization that are applicable in Office apps, in Power BI. It's easy to apply, it's easy to view, it's seamless, it does not compromise productivity, and now the admins don't need to compromise as much as they had before between productivity and data protection. So for the next part, I will invite Alex from Microsoft Cloud App Security team who worked with us on this part of the integration to tell us more about Microsoft Cloud App Security.
Cool. Is my mic on? Excellent. So Anton just tried to put you to sleep by showing you a licensing slide, so it's my job to wake you back up. So when you guys were asked by ID how many of you knew what Cloud App Security was, we saw about 5 or 6 hands go up. So I'll spend a couple minutes just orienting you and showing you what the product does all up, and then we'll talk about the pieces that are most relevant to Power BI and walk through some pretty cool demos Anton will show you. So Cloud App Security, all up. This is Microsoft's Cloud Access Security Broker, and it's sort of in the name. The job of the product is to protect your cloud applications. So there's 3 ways that we do that. The first way is discovering shadow IT. So most organizations have about 1,000 applications that are being used by their users, and IT departments think there's about 50 of them. So there's a delta of about 950 applications or resources that your users are using that they shouldn't be using. And those 950 resources and apps pose all sorts of risks. They have security holes, they have compliance holes, they have legal gaps like GDPR compliance. And so for you, what we offer is, hey, look at the risk scores of these 950 apps. Actually, our database is about 16,000 applications. And then make decisions on how you want to manage those apps. So for applications that you find out, oh, I didn't know my users were using these, but they're okay, maybe you want to manage those more tightly. For applications that you find that have devastating security compliance gaps, you probably want to block those applications. And then for those applications you do choose to allow or continue your users to be using, or they're part of that initial 50 you expected them to be using, like Power BI would be, you want to apply additional controls to them. So that's where the second and third integration modes in Cloud App Security pop up. So we integrate with the API of a bunch of applications to look at activities and files that are in that organization, in those applications, and then act on those. So you can imagine if we're looking at users' activities, we can profile this user typically comes from these locations and performs these actions or interacts with these documents. And then when something goes out of the ordinary, like suddenly somebody moves to a country they've never been to before, or moves really, really quickly from one location to another, or starts exfiltrating massive amounts of data, at that point we want to flag it and say, hey, there's something suspicious going on here. So that's the API integration. It's all about scanning the environment, understanding how your users and your files are typically being used. And then this third integration mode is our reverse proxy. How many of you are familiar with conditional access? Okay, so a few more hands, but still not everybody in the room. So conditional access is this robust set of functionality that basically says, hey, the landscape of how users access applications has changed drastically. It used to be you'd come into work, you'd work from 9 to 5 from your corporate PC, and then you'd go home. Now users are coming from grandma's computer riddled with malware, or on mobile devices on their public Wi-Fi at Starbucks. And so every session is completely different, and those inputs dictate the risk of the session. And so the idea of conditional access is we take those inputs, and then based on the inputs, we put some kind of output. Like you either have access to the app freely because it's a secure session, we block access entirely, we make sure you are who you say you are by calling your phone and making sure you can identify that you're you. Or we do restricted actions, like we let you into Power BI, but we block downloads if you're coming from an unmanaged device like a phone. So that's the 3 integration modes inside of Cloud App Security, and we're going to walk through that second and third one. So those API-based controls as well as those proxy-based controls. So just to show you, basically tell you what you're about to see, this is exactly this third integration mode. We're going to connect MIP with Cloud App Security with Power BI. So now Anton is going to walk you through going into Power BI, and trying to download a document that's sensitive. We've labeled it as sensitive using Microsoft Information Protection, and then you'll see what the result is based on the risk of that session.
Excellent. So for this demo, I'm going to connect to Power BI from another device. And in reality, it's VM, but you can imagine that it's the unmanaged device in my grandma's house that I'm connecting from, or my own home PC that I'm just using to finish some work that I started before during good time, and I'm using an unmanaged device to do so. So I'm, at this point, the consumer of this Customer 360 report that we saw before. It's classified as highly confidential, internal only. Because I'm coming from a managed device, this session is monitored by Microsoft Cloud App Security. So basically, you can see from the URL, it's not the powerbi.com. It's coming from another, it goes to the proxy server provided by MCAS. The beauty of this integration is that it's seamless for the user. I, as an end user, get the same Power BI experience that I have when I'm using my managed device, and nothing interrupted within Power BI. So I can interact with my data, but once again, I'm addicted. So what I'll do, I'm going to export data to Excel because I like to work in Excel. And this is unmanaged device, and exporting data to unmanaged device that might have malware may be very risky. And this, Microsoft Cloud App Security can identify this in real time and block this download to the unmanaged device. It's really amazing. I'm always surprised that it happens. Okay.
Okay, so what Anton just showed, I mentioned first you discover the apps, and then you protect them more tightly with 2 integration modes. That one was the reverse proxy. That was real-time controls based on the risk of the session. The other one is the passive sort of, hey, we're monitoring everything by connecting with the API of Power BI. And in that instance, we're looking for that anomalous activity. So one of Cloud App Security's primary tasks is to look for those anomalies. They could come in the form of massive amounts of exfiltration of data, like I mentioned, login from suspicious location, suspicious inbox forwarding rules in your email suite. But really what we've done here with Power BI is we've actually created 2 anomaly detections that are custom for Power BI. So you see those first 2 rows here, the multiple share report activities. So we're looking at how much does a user typically share? How many reports do they typically share? And we profile that. And then when we see that there's an anomalously high amount of sharing going on, we'll flag that for you as an administrator so you can follow up and see, is that user doing other risky activities? Is there any data of mine that's now at risk? And you can customize all sorts of alerts that you can get about this. The second one is suspicious Power BI report sharing. So that, again, integrates with Microsoft Information Protection. So if those reports are sensitive and they're labeled as such, and that user typically doesn't interact with sensitive data, then we'll flag that and say, hey, this user typically doesn't use sensitive data, and now they're starting to share out a bunch of it. You should take a look at this. And that comes as complementary to all of the other detections that we're doing on top of other applications and Power BI as well. Like the ones I mentioned around impossible travel, suspicious download activities, uncommon location, and there's plenty more. I think there's 57 detections now inside of the product. Last point that I'll mention, the Power BI admin role. So you can imagine there are a lot of different personas, admin personas, that need to be able to access Cloud App Security and look at the reports or controls that are relevant to them. So we've created a new Power BI administrator that can go into Cloud App Security and only see the information that's relevant to them. So they'll see the activities, they'll see the alerts, all of the anomalies specifically for Power BI. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Anton off the stage.
Thank you, Alex. It was amazing. So, now that Alex just mentioned the Power BI administrator in the new role. So to complete our story, let's check out how it will look from the administrator perspective. We saw how we can control and protect the data for end users. Now we will see what visibility the administrators will get to do their job. So we are introducing in a few weeks, it will come up live in a few weeks, new admin report, which actually will provide you a visibility over sensitive data in Power BI. Now that creators label the data about what is highly confidential, what is public, it's easy for us to provide you a visibility over what sensitive data there is now in Power BI. So you can govern it, you can oversight it, you can investigate it. And also, we will show you now how it connects to Microsoft Cloud App Security. Oh. So it's loading. So I'm now in the Power BI admin portal. And what will light up in a few weeks is the new protection metrics report. This is actually a report that collects all the analyzes all the labeled artifacts in my tenant and gives me some statistics and report visibility over sensitive data in my tenant. Another thing that will come in a later stage is actually the deeper integration with information coming from Microsoft Cloud App Security about the various notifications and activities that I should be aware regarding Power BI. And to make it easier to jump into the Microsoft Cloud App Security, you will have here a great link. And if you're using this new Power BI admin role in MCAS, you will be able to access Power BI data within MCAS. So one of the biggest problems that we hear from administrators is in order to access to activity logs and other information about Power BI, they need global admin permissions. And nobody would like to give global admin permissions to a person who is only Power BI admin. Here we created this role to mitigate this gap. So I'm here in Power BI dashboard, and I can see all the activities and alerts in this tenant. So yeah, I can see the different locations people connect from. I can also analyze and investigate activity logs. So this is a really nice thing. So I can see all the activities that happened in this tenant. I can see the download the block activities, logon, view dashboard. So as a security admin, I get all the information that I need about the usage, the audit trail that related to a security incident or to security alert, and I can follow up on it in the Microsoft Cloud App Security tenant. So to summarize it, and then we'll have time for questions, and we will stay here a few minutes after if you want to follow up. So what we deliver with data protection to you with all of these new capabilities. First one is the consistent policies and labels across Office 365 and Power BI. So you can use the same sensitivity labels across your organization. Oversight for administrators. Administrators get visibility over sensitive data in Power BI and can also have more granular controls over who can access the data and in what situation. So what we saw with Microsoft Cloud App Security real-time controls, you as security administrator can actually define for some users to access Power BI and for others and prevent only specific actions that you consider risky in certain circumstances. Data owners can protect their data. You create a report, dashboard, you can classify it, and the label will persist when data is exported outside of Power BI. It helps you to meet the privacy and regulatory requirements. And also, you're now leveraging Microsoft's top security products in your Power BI environment. For those of you who will download this deck, you will have some additional links that you can follow up on this information. And that's it. We are done. Questions?
Can you go back to the previous slide, please? Two slides back.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, yeah, here I am. I've got a joke. Maybe I'll share it later. There's been a lot of sessions in the Synapse sessions and the Power BI sessions. What I haven't seen, and maybe the answer is in between, is announcements about Azure Data Catalog being folded into some of these things. I see a lot of the functionality, especially in the first piece of this presentation, that directly address some of the challenges we have. Are you guys working closely with that team, or is the strategy to fold more and more of some of that thinking into all of the products horizontally, or kind of where are we going with that?
Yeah. Oh, so thanks for the question. We are working with the Azure Data Catalog team. They have announced on various areas that they are working on their next version, and we will have some form of integration there. So when they announce, we'll have that, and we'll keep investing in that area as well.
Oh, I am online. So my question is, I have attended another session on artificial intelligence and image processing. So what I was just thinking here now, of course, there are a lot of securities and things like that, and then AI is capable of processing all the image. So if I can develop one screenscaper kind of app and put some AI, and then I can, meaning screen by screen, I can do probably a lot of data extraction, even it is very secure. Is that capability can be there, or is there anything can be protected? So that I will not, my robo will not able to, or bot will not able to capture the screenshot and then process the data.
So you mean when you do processing of the data within Power BI, or when it's exported from Power BI?
Yeah, within Power BI probably.
So if it's within Power BI, it's going to be safe because the processing of the data, Power BI secures it. And you will probably need to make sure that you label the outputs of the data as well. And then it's supposed to be, if I understand your question, as long as it's within premises Power BI, it's protected. If you create new output with AI analysis, if you label it, it should be also protected.
So I have a question around, like we're planning to use Azure Data Explorer, and we are finding that the Power BI cannot connect to the Azure Data Explorer, and they told me that Power BI team is working on that.
So there is work to improve the connectivity between Azure Data Explorer.
Yeah, from the Power BI premium nodes, we cannot connect to the Azure Data Explorer because some kind of a security integrations is not, or format integrations is not there.
So if you want, I don't have an answer for this, but I will be happy to give you my email and we can follow up on it.
Yeah, so we, the ADX people are in the booth, and we have been working with them for the last 3-4 months. If we can connect, because they're saying that the Power BI team is working on it, and I need to get...
So Power BI team is quite a big team.
Okay.
So probably somebody on Power BI team working on it, I'm just not, we might not be aware of it.
Okay, okay. I have second question on the lineage. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Are we trying, like, for example, like suppose if we are using Azure Data Flow or Azure Data Breaks, and those are where also the data curation and data engineering is happening. How we are bringing all of these data lineage in one area where people can see, rather than you're addressing this only in the Power BI?
So I think like this is something that in the works. I assume that when Azure Data Catalog will be available, I would expect this lineage scenario, like across the organization, to be somehow supported in Azure Data Catalog. Maybe like we expose it to Power BI, but this is like in early stages. But like Azure Data Catalog is probably going to be the place where you manage all the lineage across your organization, not only
Yeah.
connected to Power BI.
Yeah.
And we as Power BI will probably integrate with it.
So I
when
haven't
it's
seen any
available.
session on the Azure Data Catalog. Have you?
I haven't either.
Okay.
I don't think they have sessions.
It's not up to us to say when, even to their announcement to come.
TBD.
So I've got a question. I would like to see some desired state configuration in Power BI to double check and enforce, for instance, tenant level settings, because now it's a manual action and everybody with rights can change it anytime, and I don't have an automated way of enforcing and checking that.
Can you just repeat the beginning? Which of
Desired state configuration, it's something available in Azure and other areas, but it's not available in Power BI, and the customer asked me, is this something that's coming up, like for the tenant settings, for instance?
So it's not something that I know about, but also we can follow up on this.
Yeah. Okay.
I have a question, please.
Okay.
Our organization deploy the embedded Power BI in the other platform like Salesforce, for example. So we're using like app-owns data schema approach, right? Basically, you create the service account, and user don't really authenticate it in the Power BI. It's more authenticated in the AAD, and then the service account pass along to access report. So how does this security being protected since it's not really having user information passing along?
So, so there is a way to use Power BI embedded in the way that you authenticate also to Power BI. If the user authenticates, usually if user required to be authenticated, we are working now on supporting this in embedded as well. So if you embedding this to a web page, when user connects to a web page, they need to provide some credentials in order to log in. And we will make sure that data protection is applied there. So we'll be able to see the sensitivity label. And when you download data from this embedded, it will be configured with a label. But we need to have user credentials for this.
Yeah, we do have authentication to Salesforce, right? We're using ping authentication. So it's part of, company already have a way to authenticate. But it just, when you connect to the Power BI, when the report rendering the service account that has permission to report, pass along to Power BI. So
maybe
how do you protect?
So we haven't tackled the scenario, so we are starting work on supporting embedded scenario. Okay. But I will be happy to hear more about your scenario just to see if we cover it or not.
Okay, sure. Okay.
Hey,
Yeah.
I have questions about BYOK.
Yes.
2 questions. The first one is, have you guys noticed any performance hits by implementing BYOK?
Not something that I'm aware of.
Oh, cool. I heard mixed stuff about that, so thanks for that. And also the BYOK for per premium capacity. What kind of timeline are you looking at for that?
So it's supposed to be already out there, but if not, so we are talking in Ignite only on stuff that are going to be out soon. So BYOK is supposed to be, if it's not already per premium, it's supposed to be probably there in a few weeks.
Cool.
But let's, I don't want to just, once again, another Power BI general question that we need to follow up on.
Sure. No, that's fine. Thank you.
Thank you.